Hey, welcome to an episode of Open Minded Conversations. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope you're having a blessed day. Hope you're having a blessed week. Hope y'all have been inspired. While I'm recording this, today is Martin Luther King's birthday. Oh, should I say celebration. Not exactly his birthday, but his celebration today. Martin Luther King's Day. What an honor to have a day set aside for your contributions, even though his life ended so abruptly by violence, by racism. There's so many things, so many suspicions on how he died. Some people say he died at the hospital. Some people say, he didn't die suddenly. He died at the hospital. So many different conspiracies on how it happened. But, thinking about Martin Luther King, he didn't let fear block him from his purpose. A lot of people, fear blocks them from what they really need to do in life, their purpose, their driven purpose in life. And we have to examine the things that we do in life that kind of hold us back from our purpose, or things that we, not just our purpose, but things that we desire to do in life. I think about a lot of things that held me back, a lot of fears that held me back from things that I could have done earlier if it wasn't for fear, in life, in my personal life. A lot of things that I'm doing now, I could have done at a younger age if I didn't have fear. And I want to talk about fear will eat you alive. Your dread that fear has taken over so many things in your life. Just being very transparent. A lot of people told me in school that I was good at basketball, but I was so fearful of being in front of people and acting out and doing great things in front of people that I didn't do it. I felt more comfortable doing music. I still love music. That's what I do. I create, I songwrite and produce. I do music, but one thing I did always wanted to do was play basketball for a team, for my school, for, just a team. And I played a little bit for my church for a little while, but that's about it. But I regret, being in school, in public school. I had the grades, but it was just that fear factor that held me back from playing in school. I would have been good. A lot of people said I was good at what I did, as far as basketball. But that fear, always crept in and held me back from a lot of things. I remember the first time I had somebody called me for a speaking engagement at a church, and I was so fearful that I lied and said I was busy and I couldn't do it. And good thing my mom, she said, you better call them back. They did a lot for you. This organization did a lot for you, and you should speak. And and I'm glad that she pushed me to speak, because now, I'm not as afraid. Of course you had those butterflies, you had those nerves. You may sweat because of nerves, but I've learned to fight past that. And that's a thing that I was fearful of, because a lot of times, a lot of us, including myself, when we get very nervous, we started sweating, and or should I say, perspire. And we sweat, and we just show fear. We may stumble on words, we may stutter, all a part of fear. But all you can do is try. I feel like that's the thing. As long as you try, fear, you can kill fear. You try to do that which you are afraid of. You have done the half step. You have made a step in fighting that fear. Just trying those things. Try, If you like this girl, or you like this boy, or should I say, if you like this man or you like this woman, and you are fearful, trying will kill that fear. Pursuing that woman, pursuing that man, even though you may be nervous, but if you attempt to, you'll feel good about yourself. Even though you may be, even though you may get rejected, some people are fearful of launching a business, but it's all about, and I feel like preparation is a big part of fighting fear, but if you let fear eat you alive, you wouldn't be able to accomplish a lot of things in life, and I'm talking from experience. Before I knew it, I was in my 30s. I remember I was, like it was yesterday, I was in school, grade school, and now I'm in my 30s, late 30s, and it's a lot of things that I regret not doing because of fear. And my dad always taught me to go after opportunities, even though you're scared, go after opportunities. But sometimes you may feel like you're not ready, and that's the thing. You don't want to hesitate. This is the key. You don't want to hesitate in your preparation to achieve those opportunities or get those opportunities. You don't want to hesitate in preparation. Say me being a producer or songwriter that I am myself, I have to be prepared before that artist comes to me, with songs, with concepts, with ideas. I can't just go in there and just be blank, because I may lose that opportunity. I may blow that opportunity because I wasn't prepared in that studio session to deliver, and that goes with anything, if you want, like I said, if you want to approach that man or that woman that you like, you have to be prepared for rejection. You have to be prepared to provide, especially, when I went into marriage, I had to be prepared mentally and physically for marriage, and, spiritually as well, for marriage, because this is a spiritual thing as well, being married. And so, don't let fear eat you alive. Whatever goals or dreams or aspirations that you have in life, do not let fear eat you alive, because you'll regret it. You're like, dang, I should have did this. I should have did that. And I let fear eat me alive. And so, again, appreciate y'all for watching Open-Minded Conversations. And until next time, all right, peace.